Welcome to Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey.
I am your mid-complexity casual gamer.
I am your non-gamer gamer.
And we're here this month, we're here today with a new monthly series we're going to do, and that is our month in review, where we're just going to run down all the games we played for the month. Usually we've just done a five and dime for the month, but that doesn't allow us to kind of talk about all the games. So we're still going to do our five and dime on Friday. It may be live, it may be pre-recorded. And we'll kind of talk about more why the games ended up where they ended up, more than talking about the games themselves, because we're going to talk about all the games we played now. So November. So those of you that follow the channel know that we have a theme showcase wall in our den, and that is this month was, or November was New-vember. And so we tried to clear as many things off of our unplayed list as possible. That included new to us games or games played in new ways. We played a few expansions. So let's run down some numbers quick. I had 52 plays of 23 games, 12 new to me games this month, 2 expansions were played, and including games at my board game club, because this is including anything on the tabletop. I played 2 games in a new way that were more than 2 players, and I introduced a couple games to teachers at school, because I started up a Wellness Wednesday after school for teachers to just have a little bit of fun and come play some games. So I was able to introduce a couple of the party games that I'll talk about to them as well.
And I had 28 plays of 12 different games. 10 of those games were new to me. And I did play 1 new expansion. I did not start up any kind of a game at work.
I don't think your work would go for that.
Unless, yeah, you could. Oh.
So let's get into it. Yeah, we're getting all fancy here with some new overlays and stuff. Just trying to make things look a little nice. You can tell we are in the middle of a Christmas season now, even though we're talking about November. This is our secondary tree that we just got relit. We had a bunch of lights out on it, and I have a different Christmas themed shirt for every day between Thanksgiving break and Christmas break to wear to school.
So yes, he does.
This was my shirt today. I love it. Mickey Mouse is awesome.
This is my shirt today.
So the first game is Blob Party. This was me at my board game club at school, and this was me just. This is one that has become very popular with the teachers. So we played this one, Blob Party. You have up to 8 people playing, and you have a category and a word. And on your board, you have to write a word that goes with both things, but you can't use either the category or the word that is shown. And if you match with someone, you blob with them. And the goal is to get everybody to blob at the end. It's really fun. You have times where you might have 7 people against 1, or you might have like 4 on 4 or different groupings. So a lot of fun. That is Blob Party. Oh,
Cities. I bought this game.
Yes, you did.
My very first game I purchased for for us. Cities, that was actually a good pickup. I liked this game. You are going head to head, or I don't know how many people. We only play with 2 people, so it's always head to head for us.
I think up to 4. I think up to 4.
I think so. And you are technically building a city. You start with your buildings, and then you can pick your
scoring cards. So there's 4 different things you're grabbing.
I'm not good at naming parts of the game.
So you're grabbing 4 different things every round.
Mm-hmm.
Your scoring cards.
Mm-hmm.
Your city tiles. Mm-hmm. Your features and your building pieces.
Yes. In each round, you have to pick one of those elements of the game to build your city, and you have a block of 3x3 that you can get different features that give you bonuses. I really like this game. This was a fun game. And I'm glad I bought it.
Yeah, in a two-player game, you play 4 rounds. You're getting 2 things from each section each round. It does you don't have to do them in any certain order. If you want to get 2 city pieces, if you want to get 2 sets of buildings, you can do that. Eventually, like Stacy said, you're gonna end up with a 3 by 3 grid, so you're gonna end up with 8 total city pieces. If you're playing with more than 2 people, it will play 8 rounds because you're getting 1 thing um, from each section each round. But yeah, this was a fun one. This was a really fun game for us. I have a feeling this one is going to show up on both of
Mm-hmm.
our lists on Friday. But
Ooh,
yeah,
maybe.
cities. Well, it could. Um, Cities was a really fun tile laying game with just some other little elements because you're also getting some scoring cards and you're getting some other you're getting some buildings you're trying to stack
Mm-hmm.
up and different things. So
And then you play the different cards, and the different cards can tell you if you have, how many features in a lake. Um, you
yeah,
get,
yeah,
certain points, or if you have a certain number of tall buildings because you stack them. If you have 4 buildings of blue in one area, then is bonus points. So
no.
there's a little bit of strategy that goes into it as well.
Yeah, on the tiles, there's water and there's land, and then there's features for both. And so you might get some features that go in the water and features that go on the land. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's 5 of each, and you get points based on how many you get. Like, kind of one of those progressive. Like if you have one feature, you get like 1.2 is like 2, 3 is like 4. If you have all 5, I think you get like 10 points or something.
Yeah.
So, and that's for both the water and the land. So you're kind of looking at which features you want to take, which things and where you want to take things. Oh, I need to get some land pieces here, but I really need to connect. Like, I really need to get a full row because you also have 3 scoring cards that everybody's scoring, and the first person to get them gets the most points.
Yep.
So that is cities. The next game is cover your assets. This is one I played at school only. Stacy has played this, the 2-player version. This was a new way for me to play because we have played it 2 players, which is a lot of fun. You have 3 discard decks in a 2-player game. But I taught this to some kids at school, and I played it 5 players one day and then 6 players the next. And this has become a hit with the kids. Like they're grabbing out every time they come in. Basically, in cover your assets, you're trying to make pairs, which are your assets of different things that you're trying to make money from. You stack them in alternating ways, and you're covering your assets because people can steal your top assets. So you're trying to get your expensive ones, the ones worth the most money, as low as you can in your pile, and you're kind of trying to keep stacking them. You can make in if you have 2 pairs if you have a pair in your hand, or you can take the top discard card. Then you can try and steal from someone. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
a card that matches the top asset that someone has, you can try and steal from them, and then they can, if they have that card, or if they have a wild silver or gold, which are the 2 highest point value or money value, 25,000 and 50,000, they can go back. So you might go back and forth. We had the game that I played. The first time I played this with 5 people, we were going around and we had like one of the least expensive assets, which just had a stack in the second round. You play until someone has $1 million, and so we played a full first round. We had 2 people, including me, who was over half a million, and then we played a second round, and we had this stack that had like the least expensive $5,000 asset, and we kept on trying to steal it because there's a lot of those cards, and there's a lot of gold and silver. So people were trying to steal it with gold, or were kind of like they try to steal it, and then it would get covered or it would get matched, and then all of a sudden all this gold and silver, and we had this stack like this high that had a ton of gold and silver, and even though the assets were only 5,000 each, and it started as a 10,000 point stack, it ended up being a huge stack. Played all the way around. I saw the stack. I'm like, I was holding back the card. Someone tried to steal it. I was able to match it at the very end, and I'm like, there's no way that all of this card has to be in this deck. And I knew a couple of the kids had a couple of cards left. I'm like, the stack is so high, there's no way that anybody can have this. And I went out and I had nothing left, and it went around to the person who was sitting right next to me, and she had that card. So she was doing the same thing as me, but she had one more card that she could discard early on, because when the pile of cards that you're drawing from goes down, then you just play out all of your cards. So after you play cards, you always draw back to 5 cards. And she was holding that. She played smart. She didn't end up winning overall, but she ended up costing me the win. So I'm like, hey, that was a good move. So that is cover your assets. Next one is Dawn of Ulos. This is one I played solo. This one was a new way to play because I was able to help playtest an expansion for this game. Can't say anything about the expansion. Dawn of Ulos is an area majority sort of game, but you are not playing as any one of the 5 factions that are in the game. You're playing as gods that are manipulating these factions, and you're bidding on them. You're trying to get them stronger and then sell them off before they get too strong so that if they get weak, you are making as much money as possible. Not going to talk about this one too much because I did play with an expansion that I can't speak about. It's an interesting game. Yeah, like I said, you're playing as gods that are manipulating these factions into moving in different areas, and then you are bidding on them to see which ones. And as they increase in strength, you're trying to get their cards or get part of them before they get too strong, so that you can buy them cheap and sell them high so that you can make more money. That is Dawn of Ulos. Next one. You want to start this one?
Walt Disney's Animated. Basically, you are an artist and you are working for the Disney Studios and you are trying to complete some of the animation that is in a movie. And you are trying to collect different cards. It's a card game where you're, and also a tile laying game. And so you're collecting the cards to be able to paint, to be able to no
Let's see, what do you have? You have paint things. So you have to choose one of 5 different things that you're going to do each round.
And you're playing together, so it's a cooperative game.
You're each doing a different film.
Yep.
And then there's different powers. There's different characters that have different powers. You're trying to finish your film and get the villain into your film before the villain is basically trying to stop you because they know how the movies end and they know they do not win. So you are playing with villains. They have cards that they are doing stuff to try to affect what you're doing. You're trying to get different paint tiles in order to use your abilities and also in order to put your characters on. Once you get your characters on your backgrounds, then you can use their abilities. Yeah, I like this one. This was a fun game. Once our first game of it, we struggled. We did get through it, but we struggled. And then we realized how powerful using those abilities and really talking through things, especially you have a special character or set of characters that have some extra powers. Once we realized how powerful those really were, then it really kind of took off for us. Like, oh wait, we need to use those more often. We did play all 5 films. We played this 3 times. We played all 5 films. I really like this. I really hope that there are some expansions. I do know that the company that brought this out, I believe, has had some turmoil or sold to another company. I've heard there's some things that maybe, but I'm really hoping that whoever's taking them over really does come out with more films because I think this could be a huge hit. And very easy expansions because you don't need the base game. You just need to be able to release like they have with with Villainous, just new films, and you could have all you need is the new characters, the new tiles, the new boards. I mean, this could be very easy. I mean, you could do single films, you could do a set of films, whatever. But I think this could be a thing that could have a lot of expansions. But,
and I think communication is key in this game. You have to be able to talk and kind of ask your partners or whoever's playing, what they need and what they have so that you can come back to fight that villain. Otherwise, they will take you down.
And even once you've put your villain in, you're still working together to do things. So you have these 5 different actions you can do. One of them is animate, one of them is paint. I can't remember off the top of my head. One of them is a magic, or maybe there's 6 because there's magic, which allows you to do any one of the other ones. And depending on where they are in this kind of conveyor belt, that's how many action points you get. So if it's on the 4, you get 4 action points for that is. Then it moves down to 1 and everything moves. So it is communication like, I need that. What do you need? Okay, what can we do to make them both as strong as possible over the next couple of turns so we can really do that? And yeah, I really like this one. It was a fun game. I'm excited to try different combinations of movies to see how those abilities kind of bounce off each other, and try those with those special characters. That was Disney animated. The next one is Fit to Print. This is a game from Flat Out Games and AEG. This is a real time polyomino tiling game. Well, not necessarily polyomino, squares and rectangles and stuff, where you are making a newspaper. You play in phases of a round. So you're playing over 3 days, and you have a phase where you are grabbing tiles with one hand and putting them on your desk. Then once you do that, then you say, no, print is the last thing when you're ready, when you're done. I don't remember what it is, but you say something, and then that is when you can start putting them on your board. It is timed though, so you have to put them on there, and then you score based on where different things are next to each other, and then you hit print. When you are done, you hit print, and you're the first person, so you kind of get an advantage going into the next round.
Yes. The problem that I had with this one is it's blind, kind of. So all of the tiles are face down. And so you don't know what you're getting. So you have to have article, um, pictures, sports, and advertisements that you have to be able to pick. So once you pick it, you place it face up on your desk, and then you keep going until you think you have enough to fill your board. If all you're picking is advertisements or photos, it makes it really difficult to have an even newspaper that is um, both happy and sad. I can't remember the word that they called it, an even newspaper.
It's basically your do you have happy balanced news? Yes. Do you have happy articles? Do you have
Yeah, so you have to
sad
have
articles?
both of those. And so knowing when to stop collecting them off your board and to yell out whatever it was that we needed to yell out to start putting one on our board. Because it is timed. Everything is timed. So you have a certain amount of time to pick all of your tiles, put them on your desk. Once you feel like you're efficient in what you've got, then you are the rest of the time you have to put them on your board and to get colors next to colors because each item is a different color. So it can get wacky crazy. So
And we played in the 5 minutes, which is like the relaxed version. Ooh. And it says you can play whatever. It's still like you feel like you're like, okay, I got plenty of time. Okay, we got 2 minutes left. Okay, I better start putting stuff on. And all of a sudden you got like 15 seconds left, and you have a whole bunch of space, and you're just throwing stuff on. So you score based on the pictures. So the articles all have a base scoring, but they also have a color, which is what type of article they are. Then you have the pictures, which score based on the articles that are around them and the colors that are around them. The thing is, the other thing is you can't have pictures next to each other. You can't have the same type of article next to each other, and you can't have ads next to each other. So as you're playing stuff, you're trying to figure out where things are going to go here. Are they going to go here? Where are they going to go? And all of a sudden you're like,
time's up.
Yeah, time's up. There was one time where I'm like, oh, time's up. I didn't even get stuff on there. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, we played with the relaxed, the 5 minutes. It does say you can play with however many minutes you want. It also there's a turn-based mode. There is a frantic mode, which is 3 minutes to get your articles and place them on, because it is when you start the timer, it is getting the articles and placing them on. I think the 5 minutes for us is where it will be. I don't think we need to do turn-based. It's kind of fun to, I think turn-based would slow the game way down.
I think so.
I think the 5 minutes is comfortable enough. I don't think we will try and maybe we'll try and do 4 at something. I don't think we will ever want to do 3, because that just doesn't even sound. It doesn't sound fun for us.
I think if you have younger kids or younger family members in the house, you may want to up your time a little bit to give them more time, or do a turn based with more people. I think there might be a
family mode, because a lot of the flat out games have a family version. Like
I think there was in the book.
So there's all sorts of different ways you can play this game. I really enjoyed this one. We like our tile laying games, and this one definitely was a hit for us. Another hit from Flat Out. So that was Fit to Print. Next on the list is Green Team Wins. It's another one from my board game club at school. I introduced it to teachers this month. I played it with some kids. Basically what it is you play 15 rounds. There are 3 different types of cards, and Green Team wins. Everybody starts on the orange team. If you move from orange team to green team, you get 1 point. If you stay on green team, you get 2 points. The way you do this is by matching answers and having the most answers. So you're not looking for the correct answer. You're not necessarily looking for what you would answer. There's 3 types of cards. There are multiple choice, and it gives you your answers. There is fill in the blank, so it gives you a word, and you have to fill in the blank with it to complete like whatever the phrase is. And then there is this or that, basically. You are not looking for the correct answer or necessarily what you would answer. You are trying to answer what you think the majority of the people will answer. So when I'm playing with kids, I have to think like a kid. When I'm playing with adults, I have to think like an adult. Like, what is the majority? Because if you are with the majority, you're on the green team and you win. If you aren't with the majority, you're on the orange team and you lose. That's why it's called green team wins. You get, like I said, you get 1 point if you move from orange team to green team. You get 2 points if you are on green team and you stay on green team. If it's split 50-50, if you're on green team, you stay on green team, you get the points. If you're on orange team, you still stay on orange team and split the points or and get no points. You play 15 cards and you add it up, and it's a really fun game. The adults have liked it, the kids have liked it. So yeah, that's green team wins.
I've never played that game.
I don't think you could really play it with 2 people since you need a majority.
I could
You
be a
would
majority.
you would always have majority. You would always be matching or not matching.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
That's okay.
Hanamikoji. Hanamikoji is a head-to-head game where you are placing cards down in different ways. It's almost like it's an cut you choose for the most part. You have 4 different tokens that you are using to either discard a card, you are laying a card down, you're trying to win the favor of geishas, you're laying a card down by a geisha, you are putting 3 cards out there, and your opponent gets to choose one before you take the other 2. Excuse me. Or you have 2 cards and 2 cards that you actually split into pairs, and your opponent gets to choose first. And then you're putting them down, you're trying to score points. The cards go with the 5 colors of geishas? 6 colors of geishas. 5 colors of geishas.
5?
And they're.
I think it's 5.
I think it's 5. It's either 5 or 6. I think it's 5. Because you have to win 4 favors, I think. And then you. The cards are numbered 1 through 4. And then you are trying to, if you have the most points, you've earned the favor. At the end of a round, if you have a certain number of geishas who you've earned their favors, you win. I really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun.
I liked this game. I like. So, it's kind of, to me, it's kind of like oh, what is that game? Oh, it's gonna kill me. I can't remember where. Never mind. Just ignore that I said that because I can't remember what.
Think about it.
I'll think about it in about 4 games from now. I'll think about it,
and we'll let you know.
But it's kind of head to head. So you have, let's say you have 3 orange cards you're laying down versus his 2 orange cards. You win those. You win the geisha, who's the orange geisha. So the marker goes to your side. The first person who has 4 markers on their side wins.
Yeah. And I can't remember if it's, and I'm getting this confused.
You say it's 6 colors now.
And I can't remember. There's 5, and it's the first person to have 3, or I don't remember. We played it earlier in the month. But I can't know. I don't know if I'm getting confused with the next one we're gonna show.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure because you have 4, and then I only had 2 left.
Right. Okay.
So I think it's 6 colors.
Okay. So 5 or 6 colors.
If we're wrong, let us know.
I think. You know what? I think it is 5 because in the circle on the next one there was only 5 colors, and I think you had to have. I think you still had to have. I think you had to have 3 or 4. I don't remember off the top of my head.
We'll just.
But you have to have a certain number of geishas that you've earned the favor of. It's a lot of fun. You start with 4 cards, 5 cards, but 4 cards. You always grab one off of the deck before you start. So you don't know what cards the other person are. You don't know when they discard one, and you don't have. The cool thing is you don't have to do the same things at the same time. Like I could do my big one and go, okay, 2 and 2. And let her choose right away because maybe I'm like, okay, later on, maybe I want to guarantee something. And you're doing things in different ways. This was a hit. This one was new to us. This one has been on our shelf for some time because I backed this on Kickstarter when I backed the next game, which let's just jump into the next one, and that is Geisha's Road, the sequel to Hanamikoji.
I didn't care for that game. I liked Hanamikoji much
I
better.
really liked Hanamikoji. I like the simplicity of it. Geisha's Road takes the simplicity of Hanamikoji and it ramps it up a little bit because it adds a circle of tea houses with geishas on them that when you play a card, you actually move the geisha around. And then when you land back on the geisha's starting tea house, the same color, you get some, you earn the favor, and you're doing different things. And then we didn't even play with the guests. I agree. I like the simplicity of Hanamikoji. I do think this is a really good game. I think this has some really cool aspects to it. I just don't think it's a game for us.
I think if I'd have learned this one first, maybe I would maybe liked it more because I didn't have
The comparison.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, but I like Hanamikoji. I'm a non-gamer gamer, so this one was almost a little too complicated for me because I kept forgetting to draw a card and I forgot to move the geisha around.
That was something we kept on forgetting in Hanamikoji was to draw that card of it. But the geisha moving around, it's just you're playing the same game in one spot, but then over here you've got something else that you have to remember to do. And like I said, we didn't even do the guests where, but yeah, we did. We did do the guests where you grab the guests and then you get the points from the guests, which adds another level of complexity. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is a really good game. I'm not going to say this is a bad game. I just don't think this one is a game for us because I think Hanamikoji could be a weeknight game because it is very quick to set up, very quick to play. You can play like 2 games like really quickly. This one, and we may have missed this in Hanamikoji, this one does have a round limit. So if you don't have a certain number of favors after 2 rounds, you just add up your score. Whereas I don't know if Hanamikoji, and if it did, we missed that rule in Hanamikoji. We'll have to double check that. I think in Hanamikoji it just said you keep on playing, but
you keep
I don't
playing
remember
until one person has 4.
Right. Well,
unless we miss
in this one, well, yeah, in this one is the same until one person has 4. But if nobody has 4 at the end of the second round, you added up your points, and then whoever had the most points won. Yeah, I do. I like the simplicity of Hanamikoji. Like I said, I think this is a really good game. I enjoyed playing this game. I just think for us, it's adding a little too much for what we want from this kind of gameplay. We have a couple games like this in our collection where like we really like this version of it, and then as they start adding more and more to it, it just becomes like, yeah, that's not just for us. This one is really not for us, but Hanamikoji was a huge hit. Geisha's Road, I enjoyed playing it. I did like playing it, but I just don't think it's going to be a game for us. Next one is Hands. This is a game that this was not played in a new way. Some kids were playing it, and I wanted to make sure they were playing right because it sounded like they weren't. You have cards. You have yellow card or blue cards that have one hand that's making a gesture or something. You have 2 yellow card or green cards that are making 2 hand gestures. You start with 5 cards. You're trying to match the blue ones with other people with a gesture. You show each other a card and you put it down in front of you. It's worth the point. The green ones, when you have a green one, you do the 2 hand gesture, and the last part of the table that does that gesture gets the card. That is negative points at the end. At the end of the game, you add up your points, and that's it.
It's a good family game.
It's a fun, silly game. I do enjoy playing with the kids. Not played in a new way, but the kids who were playing it, I could tell, weren't playing it quite right, so I jumped into their game to make sure they were playing right, and I enjoy playing this one with the kids. So,
and you do have to be careful on some of those cards because some of them are very close,
very similar.
Some may be.
You have different
like sign language.
Different sign language, and you have like the fist or the thumb on the side, on the bottom. So there's a bunch. So that's why I tell the kids, like, really make sure you guys are showing each other the card when you match, so that, because every time we get to the end of a game and it's like, well, why do we have like 4 cards left that don't match? Oh, okay. You guys matched something that wasn't really a match. Not that big of a deal. We just play, we're just playing for fun. But I do try to remind the kids, make sure you're actually showing each other cards when you're done. And you're supposed to do it silently. We have names for things because I actually think it's more fun to be like calling out names as you're doing, you know, like
Uh-huh.
or you know, whatever it is, you know. So, all right, that is hands. Ooh, I should have known that.
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 This was one that we bought for our New Year's Eve fun. That will be
This will be earlier in the
this will be
evening.
earlier in the evening.
It's a trivia game for the most part.
Yes.
I should have known that is supposed to be common questions that people are supposed to know. I don't think it's common questions that people are supposed to know. It's supposed to be now to me like easy questions. What would be like what color is the sky? No, this is like what is the capital of
She, she,
Pakistania?
she,
Like I
she
don't
got
know.
very. We played this twice, and the cards that she would draw to ask me the questions, I was like, "Oh, that's easy. That's easy." And the card she was getting was like, "Wait, how is this even fair?" So there were
Yeah.
4 questions on each card,
Mm-hmm.
and then you went through the whole thing. And I'm trying to remember. Like we played this a couple weeks ago, and for
Yeah.
some reason I can't. I think you earned points or something.
No, you set how many points you want. You can start at
Oh,
50
that's right.
points
That's
and
right.
work
That's
down
right. That's right. That's
to
right.
zero first person to zero
That's
loses.
right.
Or you set your point limit of where you want to start, and you can either start at zero and work up to a certain amount of
That's right.
points, or
You start at a certain number of points. You say, okay, we're gonna start at 50, and then each question was a certain number of points that you
mm-hmm.
subtracted if you got it right. That's right. And
Yes.
there were 4 questions on each. There was a 1 point, a 2 point, a 3 point, a 4 point. I don't know why, but every card she pulled for me, it was like really
Easy.
easy. Um, like one of the questions was superhero themed, and I love superheroes and Marvel comics, and like the answer was like Marvel comics, and she's like, oh my god, really? And then the stuff that I was
Wow.
pulling for her were just like these. I'm like, you're not gonna get this.
Yeah,
I'm like,
don't
just
even try. We're
don't
just gonna
like
count
we're
this.
just gonna go.
We're just gonna.
So it is a fun game. This will definitely be a staple New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm. It is a fun
It,
game.
it, it was a lot of
It
fun.
made me feel really stupid because I didn't really know that.
But then again, even me looking at the answers, I'm like, I would not have known that either.
And
And
then
she's
you
looking
just
at the
shuffle
answers of
them.
the cards that she got, and she went, "Oh yeah, these
I
are
didn't even
easy."
have to look at the answers for his
No,
cards. I
no,
was like, oh my gosh, really? I think a 5-year-old could answer
yeah.
these questions. And
So
then you get to mine and you'd need a professor, a doctorate
well,
in physiology to be able to answer my questions.
you need that. But that's a fun. It's a fun game. We like silly games like this. That is, I should have known that.
I should have known not to play that game.
Next one is Just One. This is another game that I have a board game club at school that I introduced to some teachers this month. I had played it on Board Game Arena before. Just One is a game where you have basically, if you are the active player, you put a card face down on your thing or facing everybody else on your little stand, and you yell out a color. So there's like 4 or 5 different colors, and so that is the word that everybody else has to come up with a word. This is a cooperative game. Everybody has to come up with one word to describe that word. The twist in this is when they all reveal their words to each other, if any of the words match, those words get erased. So if you have 6 people playing and 5 people are giving a clue and 2 people give the same word, all of a sudden you only have 3 words that the guesser has, the active player has, to actually figure out what word it is. So you're trying to come up with a word. You're trying not to come up with the most common word that you think other people, but you're also trying to come up with a word that's not so specific that maybe someone doesn't know. The problem is that everybody's trying to not come up with the most obvious word, and sometimes you both come up with the most obvious, non-obvious word. Like you come up, you're like, wait, you guys both said that, really? And it's a lot of fun. We had a blast playing this with the adults on our Wednesday Wellness Wednesday. We had so much laughter coming from the classroom. Um, it was a lot of fun. We did end up getting a fairly high score, like a higher score than we had that I've ever gotten on Board Game Arena. I think we were a little lenient because we're just having fun with it, but that
So
is
is it
just
kind of
one.
like categories, kind of?
Similar except for one person is guessing the word and 5 people are giving clues to the word. And so they have like 4 words that they can see, and you don't know what they're, and you say like red, or whatever it is, ABCD, whatever it is, and they are giving a one word clue to just that word.
Gotcha.
But if two people give the same clue, it gets erased. Like you could have five people giving clues, and you could have one word that is the clue that you have to figure out what the word is. So this is a fun one. If there was a way to adapt this to two people, we definitely would. But there's just it would be impossible. You would just be giving a one word clue.
Dang it.
So I know. So that is just one, and that one I taught to some teachers at school. Maki Master from Kids Table Board Gaming.
I love this game. So, Maki Master, you are a sushi chef, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you
Pretty
are
much.
and you are trying to make sushi on your board. So you're trying to oh shoot.
On a shared board. You have a
Shared
shared board
board.
that you are putting different ingredients
Yes. And we played this a while ago. I really liked it, but I can't remember.
You have cards.
Yes,
that
you do.
You have cards that you are trying to make certain
Sushi.
patterns of sushi
Oh, yeah.
on the board.
Yes, you are.
Maybe you need to look at the back boxes before we talk.
Yeah, I think so. I need
Do you remember it a little bit more?
refresher course. I remember that I had lost both times we played.
Did you?
I don't know.
Remember. But yeah, so basically in Maki Master, you have a shared board, and depending on how many people are playing, you have a certain number of spaces. You are putting tiles of different types of ingredients from
Oh yeah.
from the seafood to the vegetables, and there's several different components, and you're trying to put them on, but you're doing a shared board. So you are trying to do stuff, and the other person's trying to do stuff to get stuff in certain orders, and then when you place a piece down, you can score your cards. So each piece of sushi each thing you're trying to make has between 2 and 5 ingredients. And then if you get them in order, so you don't have to have them in order, but if you have them in the order they are on the card, and it doesn't have to be like horizontal or vertical, it could be horizontal or vertical, it could be going up or down, just as long as you have them in the order on the card, then you get some extra bonuses. So yeah, this one was a lot of fun. I played the solo mode on this. I thought the solo mode on this was done very well. I did like that it played very similar to the multiplayer experience.
Mm-hmm.
The AI was putting things down, trying to score things. Um, I really like this one. It's kids table board gaming, and kids table board gaming really does not miss for us. We've got one more game on the shelf that we need to play for the first time, and Maple Valley is on the wall this month, so we'll get that played hopefully this weekend. And they just teased a new game coming out in the Creature Comforts world, which we are already very excited about. And this is nothing that I'm spoiling because they posted it on Instagram and on Facebook from PAX on Unplugged. So very excited about that because Creature Comforts is one of our favorite games, like of all time. Like we love that game. That game is so good. But yeah, so Maki Master, this is a remake of a re-implementation of a game called Wasabi from many years ago. So if you know Wasabi, this is a re-implementation of it. Just a few new aspects, I do believe. Really like this one. This one, another big hit from Kids Table Board Gaming for us.
I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Next game is Metro Runner. This was a solo only game for me. I'll be honest, I played this once and took it off the table. I do have to get it to the table again. I love Thunderworks games. Their games have mostly been a hit for me. For some reason, I don't know. You're going around this rondel, trying to do some different things, trying to fulfill some contracts, and then you are also trying to hack some certain things. I worked too much on that, and it felt like that cost me the game. And in the solo mode, the AI is just blocking you from doing things, and it's just to beat your own score. So I'll be honest, I don't remember much about it, unfortunately, because I usually don't take games off the table for after one play. I had to get a lot of games to the table still. Um, I will play it again just to check, but this one, unfortunately, this one just did not hit for me. in the
Didn't sell
solo.
your boat,
No,
huh?
I really wish. I think if the AI was more like an actual opponent and not just blocking spots and taking stuff from you in a game like this, I want more from an AI than that. Um, I didn't. I guess I. It looked interesting. It looked really cool. It sounded really cool. I didn't. I guess I didn't look into the solo enough for it. And Thunderworks, like I said, Thunderworks games are some of my favorite games.
What else do they make?
It's the cartographers and role
Oh,
player and Tenpenny Parks and um,
you love Tenpenny
Tenpenny
Parks.
Parks is one of my top polyomino games. Cartographers is one of my favorite roll and write games. Cape May was a big hit when I learned that earlier this year. I think it's one you might like actually. Um, the role player universe. I really like the games in that universe. This one, I just I would love to try it multiplayer, but it's not gonna be a game for Stacy. And I don't really have a game group, so I don't know. I'll try it again solo. We'll see. This one it just didn't hit for me very much. Overall, unfortunately.
Doggone it.
Yeah, I was excited for the theme, and it was kind of a different theme, but you know, if someone develops an AI that's actually an opponent, I think it would raise the my enjoyability of it. I don't like games that have a lot going on, then it's just beat your own score. Um, so without it being multiplayer, I don't know. We'll see. New York Zoo.
Hmm.
Um, this is one I played only
Uh-oh.
at my computer screen just flashed. Only at my board game club at school, and this one was played in New Way because Stacy and I have only played this two player,
Mm-hmm.
and I played this as a five-player game. I taught this to some kids, and I really enjoyed it. It was much different because you had a little more time in between your turns, but you also had less space to fill. I taught it at lunch, and then we played it after school with a couple other kids. And yeah, this one was a good one. I really like New York Zoo. It's a polyomino tile laying game, and basically the goal is to fill your zoo first. There's no scoring. You're putting animals in your enclosures. If you have more than two, if you have two or more in one of them, and you go past its breeding spot, you get to add another one in. When you completely fill one, you get to then get some extra pieces to fill in some spaces. So I really like this game. We need to get this to the table again.
So when you say with more players, you have less space to fill, do you cover part of your board?
No, there are different boards. So you
Oh,
have in the two. So there's a bunch of different boards. There's a solo board. There's two-player boards, which this like the second player has just one less space, I think, to fill in. Then there's three-player boards, and then there's four-player boards, and there's five-player boards. They're just on opposite sides
gotcha.
of the board. So the five-player boards were like half of the full board. And then it just kind of filled in the other side with the grass and stuff.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so it was quite interesting. It was a lot of fun. I'm excited to teach it to more kids at school. I'm excited to get it out at home again. Because this is one we haven't played for a while, and I really enjoyed my play of it at school.
I like the baby penguins
And the white foxes,
and the white
or
foxes,
as we refer to them,
the
stickas.
sickas.
They're not white foxes in our game.
Sickas.
They are sickas. They're American Eskimo dogs.
They're our dog.
Although they would not be in a zoo, but still, they're our dog.
He looks like a white
Next
fox.
game, Parks Roll and Hike.
Ooh. This is for people who like the Parks game, but it's a much smaller, more simplistic game, I think, than the board game of Parks. Um, you, oh shoot, I'm not supposed to pick it up.
No, you can. That's okay.
Okay, let me pick it up.
We had to kind of double check what it was, so we've got it in front of us just because we were double checking. We played this one very early in the month as well.
Yes, so I'm surprised I even remember this game, to be honest with you. This is a roll and write game, right? It's a roll and write.
Yes.
And you are trying to fill your, oh my, this is a while ago. Anyway,
You have a little passport
yes,
book.
a passport book. Go ahead. And you have to draw pictures.
You're drawing pictures. You're
And I'm a
visiting different
terrible
things.
artist.
You're rolling the dice. You're choosing dice to do. You're seeing the wildlife, or yeah. This has been a little while for us. or you're gaining the water, you're seeing the mountains and different things, you're drawing different things in your passport, you're crossing off different things to or bonuses. So there's a lot of aspects of parks to it, but it's in a roller night version. I really enjoyed it. It's a much lighter version. You still play over 3 rounds. It has a really good solo mode as well, so that's always a bonus. But yeah, we really like this one. It's a good rolling, right?
I think once I get used to it, I'll like it more.
Yeah, I will say, since we do have it in front of us, one of my favorite things are these. First of all, it's got really cool dice. We did do a first impression, but these really cool passport books. We'll just show that real quick that you write in. So those are kind of cool little.
Cool
little things.
aspect of it.
So a nice little roll and write. Nothing too fancy, nothing too extreme with it. A lot of fun.
So instructions are easy to understand, which I liked and appreciated.
Yeah, and that is Parks Roll and Hike. Next game is Quicks. This is a game that I have at my board game club at school. Learned it with some kids, and then brought it home to teach to Stacey.
Just learned it like this week.
A week.
Well, I guess this is a new week. It's last week.
This is December, so we're a full week in. So at the end of Thanksgiving, like right after Thanksgiving.
It's November. I learned it.
No. So what this is a it's quick. It's called Quicks for a reason. You're rolling 6 dice, 4 color dice, 2 white ones. The active player shouts out the total of the 2 white dice, and everybody can choose if they want to cross off that number. You have 4 rows, 1 for each color dice. 2 of them go from 12 to 1 or 12 to 2, and 2 of them go from 2 to 12. You're trying to cross off as many numbers as you can. The more numbers you cross off in a row, the more points you get. And then the active player can then also choose a white dice with one of the color dice to mark off another number in a row. If you get at least 5 in a row and you get the 12 or the 2 for that color, you can cross it off and lock that number out, and that dice comes out, and nobody else can do anything with it. It's called Quicks for a reason. It is a very quick game, very fun game. It's a good roll and write from Game Right. So
this game.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really easy to learn, really easy to play. So
even for non-gamer gamers, I think this would be like a good game to take camping with you. This would be a good game to play with the whole family even. It's easy to understand, which is a good thing for non-gamer gamers, I think.
Yeah, so that is Quicks. Moving on to our next game, and that is Race to the Raft. So this one was played in a new way. We got the Kickstarter expansion, which had some new starter tiles. We played this quite a bit. I did a live stream of this solo because, unfortunately...
Oh, that's when I was sick.
Yeah, we were supposed to live stream this on a Wednesday with the Willses at the beginning of November, and Stacey came home that day and had a massive migraine, was not feeling good. So, thankfully, it has a solo mode that I've played and was able to kind of pivot over to it. But we did get some plays of it in with the expansion and without the expansion.
I personally prefer it without the expansion.
I think so in Race to the Raft, you're setting up boards and you're trying to get cats from an area to the raft to get them off the island before they get caught on fire. Fire is chasing you when you move the cats. Fire moves after you. When you place a card down, fire moves after you. It's a limited communication cooperative game. You can basically say, I have a really good card for red. I have nothing for blue. You can't say how many of each number you have. Like, I can't say, I have 4 things for blue, or I have a straight line of red. So, I like this game.
Yeah. It gets a little complicated for me with the bigger expansions where you start with the fire on the board and you have to fight your way through it, and
so
I like it up to a certain point, and then after that I'm just like,
yeah, and this does scale really well. This game scales very well for non-gamers and also for midweight gamers and also for heavier gamers, because I'm not gonna say like super heavy gamers, but it has a series of scenarios, and the scenarios get harder and harder to do. So it does scale very, very well. With the expansion, there's new island boards that are funky shape. They're not just squares and rectangles. And they have fire that is in the middle of them already. And there's some other things like treasures and things that you need to do that you need to collect. I like the expansion. We have not played through barely any of
There's a
the
lot.
scenarios. I do like the fact that this is solo and multiplayer because we'll maybe get a couple multiplayer games in, and then I might play a solo game of a different scenario or something, or one of the scenarios we did, just so I can play it solo. Um, this one's actually on our wall this month as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just I need to try and get this one played a few more times, so we'll play this one a few times, and I'll probably play some solo modes of this. So yeah, Race of the Raft. This is a good one.
I like it. I like it.
City of Games is very quickly moving up my list. Isle of Cats is another one of my favorite polyomino games. Love Race of the Raft. We have Adoring Gardens, which we still have to learn, and then the newest one, Emberleaf, I backed. So I'm excited for that one. Rolling Realms, not going to talk a lot about this one. I've done a lot of content on this, including individual realm tutorials for each realm. Rolling Realms, you play over 3 rounds. You are rolling the dice. You have 3 different realms that represent different aspects of different games, and you're putting numbers in, trying to manipulate them as much as possible. I was able to get on a live stream with Jamie Stegmeyer from Stonemaier Games um, in November for the first time in quite some time. Even once volleyball season ended, seemed like his live streams corresponded with Fridays when we had to work.
Are you name dropping?
No, because he does live streams on his thing.
Okay.
So he's up to like 72 of them or something. So he's been doing it for a couple of years. And so I was able to get on live stream and play it. I still have to get the new solo mode to the table that came in Rolling Realms Redux, and I still have to play Beyond the Realmiverse. So hopefully I'll get those to the table this month, since this is on the wall as well for games I need to get played a few more times this year. So I'm not going to talk too much about that because I have done a lot with that.
Mm-hmm.
Rove, this is another solo game from Button Shy, where you are moving a little module around in different ways. You are manipulating it. You have a certain number of movements each turn based on numbers, and you are trying to get 7 different configurations of the modules. I played this with one of the many expansions that I have finally, so this was played in a new way. I really enjoyed it. It just gives you some different abilities and different things. Can't wait to get the other ones to the table as well. I've talked about this one a little bit, so not going to talk too much about it. But Rove is a great solo game. I highly recommend it.
Oh,
Strike.
love this game.
I'm not even sure.
What?
Well, let's explain it first, and then I'm not sure how this. I don't even remember how we learned about this one.
We learned this because they were doing a top 10.
No, we learned this before that. Someone mentioned it before that.
I don't know, but anywho, I thought you got it from the top 10 Press Your Luck games.
That was Dive.
Oh.
I don't think this one was on the
Anyway, this game, I'm going to recommend it. Give it 2 thumbs up. It's addictive. It's very addictive. So you have a little arena.
Yeah, that is in the box.
Yeah, so basically it's the box. You're throwing your dice into the box, and you're just basically it's a Press Your Luck game.
Yeah.
You're trying to.
The push your luck aspect comes in how hard you want to roll.
Yeah.
Dice. You're trying to.
You can knock other dice around and change their number if you want to. Oh, it's.
Yeah. So what you're trying to do is you have a certain, depending on how many people are playing, you start with a certain number of dice. And when you start with those dice, you are rolling one at a time into the arena, which is in the box, and it's kind of slanted and circular. And you can roll it nice and light. You can roll it hard and try and knock other dice. If you make a pair, you get that dice. You are trying not to lose all of your dice. If you don't make a pair, or if the dice ends on an X, or if the dice ends on an X, it gets eliminated. If you don't make a pair, the dice just stays in the arena and you keep on going. I think I did see this on the Dice Tower, but it was not on the top 10 Push Your Luck games. I saw this before. I think we actually purchased this one before that. But I did see them talk about it at some point, and it just looked silly fun. He said the Push Your Luck aspect really comes in like Do you want to just roll the dice nicely, or do you want to chuck it down there and try to knock the dice out? The other thing is, if you roll it too hard and it kind of bounces out, then it's out as well, and all of a sudden you are down a dice. You are trying not to lose all of your dice. In fact, when we played it the first time, we read that wrong.
Yes.
I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
We were playing to lose all our dice.
Yeah, we were trying to lose all our dice. And we're then we were playing the second time. We're like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, oh no, you don't want to lose your dice. Okay, I guess I lost both games, didn't win both games. So
my little hand was so full of dice, I couldn't even close it.
Yeah, so I thought I had won both games before our third one, and I actually had lost them both because my dice were gone. I was like, okay, I keep losing.
Yeah.
So it is a really fun. This one is going to be a New Year's staple as well, I think. This one's an easy late night one when you
can't think.
You don't have to think. You just roll the dice. Did they match? Nope. Okay. Next person roll. Do they match? Okay, take them into your hand. So this is a fun one. Highly recommend this one. It's silly fun. I couldn't even imagine with like more people rolling dice in and stuff. And so that is Strike. Getting down to our last couple games here. Toil and Troubles.
This is a Grandpa Bet game. Toil and Troubles is a, what is that called? It's a push your luck game. Where you have cards in your hand and you're trying to put them in the 2 rows?
3 rows.
Oh my gosh, I haven't played this game.
We live streamed this, and then we had technical difficulties.
Yeah, and that's the last time I played, and we didn't even play a whole game.
No, we played this. We didn't get through Bears and the Bees.
Oh my gosh.
Which is why that one's not on the game for the list for the month.
My memory sucks.
So yeah, you're putting cards in numerical order.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Into 3 different rows, and then at any time you can stop, and you take those cards. But there's also some specialty wizards that allow for powers, or that could help you, or possibly hurt you. Sometimes that's okay. And then there's some that can cover up things. The Vanish or Cloak. The Cloak allows you to cover up cards because you can't put the same number next to each other, and you can't put the same color next to each other, even with the wizards.
Yep.
And then when your turn is done, if you draw a card and you push your luck 1 too many, you can't play a card. Your turn is done and you don't get any cards. The other person, when your turn is done, no matter what happens, always gets 1 card from the end of one of the rows. So
yes, and you're trying to build, like, get all the same color, get all the same number, and then you score it at the end of how many
if you
stacks you get.
If you get a certain number of cards of a certain number, you get, and it doesn't matter the color in that case, you get to put 1 upside down, and that's points. That's 10 points. And then if you get a certain number of, if you get 1 of each color, you can, something we surprisingly really enjoy.
Just the adrenaline.
I would not have put Push Your Luck near the top, but if we do a 5 and dime for mechanics, this is going to probably be on both of our lists because it is something we are both really enjoying. All right, and the final game of the month was Windmill Valley. This was a solo-only game for me. Sorry.
It's okay.
They're alphabetical. So, solo-only game where you are tulip farmers and you are trying to control the water wheel to say how fast your gears move. You're trying to get some workers in. I really enjoyed the solo mode of this. You're trying to get a bunch of tulips into your farm. I do enjoy the solo mode of this. It was a lot of fun. As a casual, I just wanted to play and have fun and explore the game. You can only do so much though with the wheel and with your water level, because if it goes too fast, your water level gets too high, and then it could flood, I believe. But you can move the wheel down, and you can move the water back to earn some extra coins and some points. Yeah, I really like this one. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed playing solo. You might enjoy it. It might be a little too much going on for you, but
I like flowers.
Okay, well, we can get out and you can try it. Might as well try it once.
Maybe.
Say how you feel about it. We can start a new series where we talk about games that you tried, and you can just kind of talk about them, and not by yourself. I'll be by your side. But that was Windmill Valley. So there is our month in review for November of 2024. 23 total games played between us. Well, I played 23. Stacey played 12. So, it was a good month. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of new games. So it was a lot of learning. This
Hence
month,
the name New-vember.
Yep, hence the name New-vember. This month is a little break from that because they're all games that we've played. So it's a little break from that. It's a lot to learn in 1 month. Um, but I had a lot of fun with all these new games and stuff. Learned a lot of
a lot of games I can't remember.
A lot of fun. Well, yeah, first time playing them. That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, so this is the month in review for November of 2024. Oh, and I just realized I did not make a end screen for this. Oh well.
Oh no.
No end screen. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you've played any of these games, what you think about them, and yeah, please hit that subscribe button. That would mean a lot to us. Down below somewhere. Here, I believe, is the subscribe button. Maybe. Yeah, over there somewhere. Down below. Yeah. Yes. Once again, this has been Where There's Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey.
And I'll see you next time.
At the table.
And we'll see you next time.
At the table.
Not just me.
All right. Be there.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you for everybody who joined. We'll see you next time.